Thank you for joining us. The National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Shehu Gaban, joins me live in the studio. Welcome to the program, sir.
Great pleasure for me. Thank you.
You listened to the president's speech, and I know you have been following events in the country, of course, the build-up to the protest, the eventual protest, how it turned out, and the president eventually coming out to speak to Nigerians and appeal to young people to stay off the street and give room for dialogue. This president's speech, did it strike the right chords, especially did it resonate with Nigerians who demand improvement in governance?
Well, if you follow reactions, both from the social media, from prominent Nigerians, including Wole Soyinka, it is clear that he did not capture the mindset of the people. And one of the major reasons why some of us on the 25th of last month, I was on a prestigious program with Shehu. I called on the president to address the nation before the protest. He is the #1 stakeholder in the system. For him to rely on second layers of disinformation about government programs would not be good for him. He is the first citizen of Nigeria. These protests have indicated strongly, irrespective of layers that are promising him it will not take place, that they are not in touch with the reality. The entire gamut of the government officials that came out, make public statements, persuaded organizations, NGOs, traditional rulers, suggesting that the process will not hold, have proved that they are not connected with the people. And that is our fear, that is our concern. People elected the president. They need to hear from him. So many insinuations has been made. So many perspective has been given around the president. He is not reachable. He is not this. His ministers cannot reach out to him. The first thing he should do is talk to Nigerians. I have access to all that is going on. I have access, or I've given access to all the stakeholders to talk to me.
But the president has always said that, he understands the challenges. He feels the hardship Nigerians are going through as a result of unnecessary economic reforms. That conversation has always been on.
The president understood what was going on before. After he took over office on that first day, 29th of May, the president misunderstood the system by removing that subsidy. That subsidy is a source of truncating the entire process. It's a source of discommunication.
But everyone says it was necessary, even those that
it wasn't necessary. This is not the first time we are removing subsidy in Nigeria. He's not the first president to remove subsidy. When the economy is biting extremely very bad, the purchasing power of Nigerians is very low. People cannot afford to feed themselves, take care of their children's school fees. As I'm talking to you, all schools have increased school fees. How will the parent cope with it? And now, if you are going to remove subsidy, you don't need to remove it to that percentage. Remove it to a small percentage and feel the pulse of the people. How are they managing it? It should be a gradual. Nobody said don't remove it. We understand that he inherited a collapsed system. Naturally, as a leader who have been in the trenches for decades, who fought for the restoration of democracy, who participated in the rallies, he should have known that it's not going to be easy. All he needed to have done is, look, this would be bit by bit. On that same day that he mentioned that the president have removed subsidy from the budget for that funding of the subsidy, he equally have the power, as the president and commander general have been sworn in, to also send a supplementary budget to the National Assembly, that despite the outgoing president have removed it, I will still refund it for 1 or 2 months, pending when I have a formation of cabinet, a team players, advisors, that the Constitution have provided for him. Where he have lapses, somebody will pick it from there and advise him on what to do. But there was no PA that was appointed at the time he took that decision. So the issue of even contextualizing the decision wasn't there. So these are gamut of issues that the president just found himself in it, in a bid to fast-track the process. But fast-tracking the process do not give you the latitude to ambush the nation. The economy was on its knees. The economy have been crippled. We're in deep recession when he took over. Now, which means you need a gradual step to fix the system. Rush hour can never solve the problem.
You see, the economy was in a bad state when he assumed office.
When he assumed office, I said it clearly that anything short of unbundling NNPC and CBN, he can't get it right. This president said, I will step on toes. What I expected from him, and he started doing it, was to unbundle the CBN and unbundle the NNPC. The biggest cartel Nigeria have ever produced is CBN and NNPC. This is what is sucking Nigeria dry. And then you have a system that is so fragile, the demand have outweighed the supply. Absolutely. You can't even compare the two.
We have also seen, the CBN make some bold moves, tough decisions, with the way they handled the monetary and fiscal policies. They were really tough decisions that also made them step on toes.
What is a tough decision?
Uncomfortable.
What is a tough decision? CBN is increasing interest rates. How do you make your citizen accessible to funding to run small businesses when you jump back the interest rates? How do they get access to it? How would they pay back? These are elementary mathematics of economy. You are not running an elitist economy. We are not running a United States economy, which fundamentals are solid, are well embedded. They can take shocks. Our economy cannot take shocks. The last administration spent 7 months before formation of government, President Muhammad Buhari. There's no way on earth this economy cannot go into the situation that it was in comatose. The foundation was from then. 7 months without formation of government. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is aware. He knew. He was briefed. Now, since you have component of various sectors of advisors and then handing over notes, what led us to where we are? Which means you need to be creative, you need to be ingenious in creating new paths for people to have access to funding to take care of small businesses to stimulate the economy.
But we had that. We had some of that in the president's speech. He said before now the debts burden, or 97% of the country's revenue was used to service budgets, but right now 68% is being used to service the budget, a significant improvement just within about 14 months. And he also talks about a single-digit credit for big-time manufacturers, talked about some kind of interventions for nano businesses and MSMEs and all of that. Is that not the way to go, looking at where we're coming from?
Femi, if you look at the environment, banding statistics is the one that is compounding the problem. You cannot keep on bounding figures that people are imagining whether they are real or not. And they have no access to buy 10 naira bread. You cannot explain that to people in your community. So you are running an elitist system, you are binding figures. Even if the figures are correct, how did you see, where are they on the ground? How do you run an economy based on figures?
Well, they say it will take time, a little more time.
Naturally. So which means what you need to do, since you admitted that it's going to take time, is to bring policies that have direct impact on the citizens immediately. First, we are in the rainy season. We are in the farming season, which means that what the government need to have done that was to have doubled their effort in providing fertilizer for the farmers. They would have procured tractors in advance before the farming season.
We have seen some of those announcements being made that fertilizers are being disbursed to farmers. We're also seeing interventions like
Femi, and where I am a farmer, 2 weeks, last month ago.
You are a big farmer.
No.
To the small farmers.
I'm telling you, the small farmers. A bag of fertilizer is 50,000. I bought it. A bag of fertilizer is 50,000. Tell me how many farmers in the village can buy a bag of fertilizer? Are we realistic? Are we honest with ourselves? Now, what I expect the president to do, directing the Minister of Agriculture, during additional, the president of African Development Bank, people get fertilizer through text message. Why don't they look into that formula that simplifies access fertilizer to farmers? You can't get it now. How many states have made this fertilizer available that people can get access to it? I bought it in the black market. It is my wish at my level that I can get access to it. Now, if you look at the farming season as I'm talking to you, the time of applying fertilizer in the farm is almost gone. Most of the seeds have outgrown fertilizer. The ones that have not outgrown have gone bad. Because there's a time to apply fertilizer on maize, there's a time to apply fertilizer on rice. If you do not apply within that period, it will shrink up. So if you are distributing fertilizer now, or you are trying to procure fertilizer now, not for this farming season, maybe for off-season farming, irrigation, which is more costlier. Now, for people who are into irrigation, to pump water into their farm, they need to buy fuel, put it into the machine, And how much fuel can they buy? What is the liter of fuel today? So these are realities that I expect President, who is quite deep and knowledgeable about some of these things, being a governor for 8 years, to have assembled the best brains that can help him. Some of these people that were telling him, don't listen to him, have they saved him from the protest? Have they? And let me give you a typical example. Look at what happened in Kano. It wasn't just political. Kano have issues that was artificially built up for the kingship.
Yeah, the unresolved
so that is embedded already in Kano State. Now, coupled with this issue, there's no way it cannot be hijacked by bad elements. The security agencies have that intelligence, which means there would have been more deployment in Kano to secure Kano because of already ongoing crisis in Kano State.
Now, some people also blame the governor for what happened in Kano. They say, he played to the gallery when he received protesters and told them that he was
the only one who received protesters?
Going to join them in the protest.
Is he the only one who received protesters? Is he the only one?
Well, maybe knowing the situation, prevailing situation in his state.
That is the only way he can reduce the tension. Kano is not a small state. It's one of the most densely populated states. Have all variety of characters in Kano states. So Kano, Lagos must be treated differently when you are dealing with national issues or national crisis. Kano, Lagos, Oyo, Port Harcourt, these are specific states in Nigeria that are boiling points in terms of crisis. So even if when you are doing deployment, you look at the peculiarities of those states and how you will handle the situation. And for the fact that there's an ongoing political crisis in Kano, and they pointed at the federal government for interfering in the state affairs publicly.
Even though the deputy governor had to take that back and apologize.
Konko so recently said that the federal government get itself involved in the internal affairs of the states.
But he wasn't able to substantiate that.
What do you mean by substantiation? Why will the judiciary interfere in internal affairs of the states?
That's the
why will you take powers of the state assembly to legislate? Where did you get that power from? Why were the members of the state assembly? Can you stop national assembly from legislating? Why are we getting crazy about issues? Why don't we allow normal things to function? And what is the interest there? Was it the first time that Emir is being dethroned in Kano State? Is it the first time in our history? Is it the first time in Kano? Is this the first time that was Sultan not dethroned before? Why are we behaving as if we are experimenting some of these things? Our security agencies are well experienced, are well knowledgeable about these issues, and they know how to navigate it. But the moment there's a political interference in some of these sensitive issues, we will pay for it whether we like it or not.
Okay, let's talk about, you just mentioned security now, the way they handled the protest. We have seen some criticism from organizations like even Amnesty International, even though the police have come out to set the record straight. But from your own point of view, how would you say they were able to manage these protests, these nationwide protests?
I think to a large extent, based on what we saw in some states, the security agencies in some states did excellently well. I saw one that is so touching. When the protesters approached the police and talked to them, the police just turned and lit them. That is civility. That is patriotism. And that is protecting the citizens to air their views. And it was done peacefully. In some areas that we saw, like Gombe, they were holding leaves. Suddenly there was tear gassing. That led to the rampage. The same thing in Bauchi, tear gassing that led to the rampage. So it depends on the states. In most of the area, you see the military people behave very well. They melted into the system. They were very quiet, they were very gentle, they were very soft in handling the situation. That's why there was no incidents of having fracas with the military and so on and so forth. But by and large, the security agencies behave very well, despite incidences that have happened. I'm sure they will learn from it. They will understand that all of us are Nigerians. We are fighting for the collectiveness of all of us. We are fighting for the goodness of Nigerians. There is no market for uniform persons. There is no hospital for uniform persons. We all go to the same market, we go to the same hospital, we go to the same, we face same school issues. So when we are saying that government should find a way to accommodate these very sensitive feelings, we are saying it with all sense of patriotism. It has nothing to do with opposition. We did not come out as an opposition party, ask all our members to come out and protest. We know that we need to protect the institution. We need to protect the nation.
You're speaking for SDP, the Social Democratic Party.
The Social Democratic Party support peaceful protest. We said it. Devoid of any act of violence.
But some people are also saying that, some politicians or people with political interest are also responsible for inciting some of these protests, especially where it's turned violent.
Well, what I expected the security agencies to do, I saw the alarm raised by DSS, which is correct, is their field, to come up with some facts. I saw the police, the army, and so on and so forth. What I expected them to do, before the commencement of the protest, they would have found a way to take the criminal aspect of them. They would have found a way to dialogue the system, to reduce the tension before the commencement of the protest. That's how civilized society behaves. Okay? But banging alarm as if there's going to be an atomic bomb that will take the country down. And then those that you have identified probably carrying those types of dangerous weapons, you did not take them out. What happened? Who is responsible? Because the primary duty of DSS is to generate intelligence to prevent crime. The primary duty of police is to police the internal affairs of Nigeria. So if there's a collaboration, there's share of intelligence, and Nigerians are not new to knowing the people with extreme behaviors in trying to escalate peaceful protests. Nigeria is not new to it. It has happened severally. So which means they have the database, they have the mechanism, they know the process of how to handle these things. So if they do not handle it, and they have raised alarm, it's going to happen, who do you hold responsible? Because
we always hear them say, no, we have credible intelligence.
Exactly.
That on such protest day, the incident might go south and all that. And people would expect them to maybe sometimes make some arrests or name and shame.
So look at Borno. Now, the DSS and the police says that there is an intelligence available to them. People who used either bombs or something to create instability.
And it happened.
So, if there's that intelligence, and the intelligence is accurate, or close to accurate, which means something must have been done, deployment must have been done, to take care of areas that have generated that signals, or the individual associated to that. But maybe we're still learning. But what I'm saying, we don't have any other country except Nigeria. We cannot sit down and allow the nation to be pulled down. We have no any other country to go to. I don't have a visa of any country on earth. I don't love any country more than my country. But the president, by the assessment of what happened, should know that he has no team to help him.
He has no team.
To help him. Because they would have saved him from this.
So this was preventable.
It was preventable. And I said it. This protest was preventable. If the president has team. Let me tell you why president have the latitude to bring aid. Because the nature, the law of nature have recognized our deficiencies. There's no perfection. And that is why the various provisions make it easy for president to recruit the best hands to help him, because he alone cannot run the system. Which means if you are bringing a minister, that minister have a value to add to you. He has a followership to add to your followership. He has a credibility to add to your credibility. He has a dignity to add to your dignity as a president. But when you bring someone that is not connected to his village, have no record of any assistance, have no record of any capacity to mobilize or change the mindset of the people, have no record of canvassing people to vote for you, what value is he adding to you?
Well, the president is result-oriented, and he's picking people that can do the job, not necessarily people with a political capital.
No. Why haven't they done the job? Is there a way to save the president more than saving him from this embarrassment? Is there any way? This is the biggest embarrassment that this president is not supposed to go through. This is the biggest embarrassment. And they know it's an embarrassment. It's the reason why some of us said, Mr. President, address the nation before the protest. Because we love him, we care for him. We don't want him to fall victim of psychopaths in government. Because he fought victim of psychopaths in government who are telling him nothing will happen. Nigeria of last year is not Nigeria of today. The poverty level, the infiltration, the propaganda have gone beyond what you can do. Our airspace is very porous. The social media have hijacked the system. What are you doing to hijack the social media space?
Okay, now that the president has addressed the nation, will it save the day?
Well, because, you know, he addressed the nation without touching the nerves. What I expected the president to dust the tension immediately was to say, look, because he mentioned it, this is the highlight, the summary of everything that the president has said, including the subsidy that he agrees that is the source of this problem. What does the president got to lose if you say, look, okay, I'm dropping a percentage of this subsidy, which will automatically adjust the cost of pump price in every filling station, automatically. And people will feel relieved. And then you initiate process immediately to engage the system. In the entire gamut of what he have said, and the entire system of our budgetary system, there was no provision for skill acquisition program to empower the youths that are jobless, that have not even gone to school, but they have something to offer. What I expect the president to do is to come up with a supplementary budget of billions instead of all these figures that I've mentioned. That look, we made up our mind in conjunction with the states. We are going to train 10 million plumbers. We are taking them off the street. The population of Nigeria will consume them. We are rating ourselves between 200, 210, 220, 250 million population. So all these skills are in high demand. You cannot get them.
Wow.
And how do you take them off the street? You have to be creative. You have to create budget to train them and give them tools to operate.
Yeah, it's a good thing now that the president says he's ready to dialogue. He has invited the protesters to open up for dialogue, and we're hoping that, you know, that dialogue happens and some of these demands are also put before the president.
Yes, let me tell you, the president can dialogue when he recognizes that he doesn't have a team that connects with the people. The political parties that have structures up to the polling unit, has he sat down with them and discussed with them? How can you help? Is our nation, is our country? Did he thought of that? Did his advisor thought of that? Is there any structure that is up to the polling unit more than political parties? Can he be a president without the political parties? Can he be a president without signature of the chairman and the secretary? Can he do that? What stopped them from mopping the political base? Look, gentlemen, it's our country. What can we do? Let's share ideas. How do we solve the problem? But they see us as a liability, that we are even sponsoring it. What is our benefit for sponsoring?
Well, Mr. President actually listens, and some people have even alluded to that he listens.
I give him the benefit of listening ears.
All right.
And I mentioned it in this program. Few occasions happen, including electricity tariff, and so on and so on. But he should do more.
We're out of time.
Because electricity tariffs have not been removed.
Yeah, we're out of time and we need to go. It's a conversation.
Please, it has not been removed. Let us get it clear.
Continue. All right, well, that's all on the program today. There you have it, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. Shehu Gabam, or Alhaji Shehu Gabam. That's all on the program today. You can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube page. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching. I am Femi Akonde. See you next time.